are back in the building. Big Homies Podcast here for another episode. Finals preview. Here to talk NBA Finals 2026. We are here. I'm your co-host, Coach C. Bell. And I got my mans in the building.
TFletch500. What up, Coach Bell? Man, we back at it. And then there was two.
TFletch 500. We back in the building, back in the building.
That's
All
right.
right. Hey, we here. Finals is here.
Finals.
Hey, we here. Finals.
Finals.
Finals. Finals. We got the Spurs and the Knicks. Got the Spurs and the Knicks. I thought it would be the Thunder and the Knicks, but they came up a little bit short.
You know what's funny about that is I could have sworn earlier this year you called the Knicks and the Spurs being in the finals. So you're gonna have to do some digging in the archives, man. I'm pretty sure you called Knicks Spurs in the finals. And I was hating. I was like, nah, it ain't happening. And look where we at. Look where we at.
Here we are, man. The Spurs and the Knicks, and I kind of think I know why you going in that direction because growing up as a Laker fan, all those battles with the Spurs and the Lakers during the Tim Duncan days, the Kobe and Shaq days, and then if anybody's been watching the show with the Knicks, and they celebrity row the celebration last year, and me, I love it. I'm here for it. I'm all about New York wilding out right now. They are amped, man, and they traveling, they everywhere. So they're gonna be in the building, man. They're gonna be in the building. I believe game 1 and 2 is in San Antonio, but those Knicks fans, they travel, man, and regardless, this is where we at, man. The Spurs led by Wemby in those finals for the first time in what, like 5 years or 5, 6, 7 years, I can't remember. And then the Knicks in the finals since the last time they played the Spurs in the final. The last time they were there in 1999. We were still in high school.
Yep.
We were still in
Wow.
high school, man. Yeah, so we right here, man. So what are your early thoughts?
I'm a little disappointed, man. I'm not gonna lie, because seeing the Knicks in the finals, that means that I got to make phone calls again to the genius, Miss Jeannie Buss, and I got to be like, yo, look how these Knicks fans are traveling. It is out of control, man. They're taking over every single stadium they go to. It's like it's gonna be New York West. It's gonna be Knicks West, and I feel like we're gonna hear a whole bunch of New York anthem songs. Jada Kiss. I got 100 guns, 100 clips. I'm from New York, New
New
York.
York.
That's one of my favorite New York songs. Like, hey, they go
Hey,
hard.
I love it. I love it. Like I said, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. This is what the people want to see, man. And New York is gonna come out the woodwork representing, man. You mentioned that song, the song with Jay and Alicia
Alicia Keys,
Keys.
yeah.
You know, hey, I'm all about it, man. But one thing's for sure, I'm gonna tell you, the San Antonio Spurs is not to be played with those fans, man. They take these teams serious down there in San Antonio. And hey, it's gonna be interesting. I know that the Knicks fans is gonna try to infiltrate, try to get up in their arena, but one thing's for sure, the Spurs is gonna dominate that place. They're gonna dominate that crowd for sure.
I hope so, because the one thing I'm getting tired of seeing is the New York takeover. And last year, they started naming streets after people after they just made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. They started naming streets after players. So I don't know what's going to happen now. Jalen Brunson about to get a statue or something. It's going to be a whole different type of turn up.
And a quick look back, that Spurs Thunder series was off the charts, man. Watching those teams battle, going to a game 7, I believe both of us said that it would be that way. And I think that obviously the best team won that series. And it was just especially in that's Game 7, the way that the Spurs came out and they competed. I was really impressed the way that they competed on the defensive end, and they were playing for each other, and they just really wanted it. It's unfortunate, there's no excuses when it comes to sports and playoff basketball, but I just think that it was too difficult for the Thunder to compete without having Jalen Williams in the lineup as well. Their guy that complements Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but they tried to fight and claw and just couldn't get it done. And I thought that the Spurs, I was really impressed on how they raised that level, especially it's super hard to go to go on the road and win a Game 7 in a place like Oklahoma City, and they did it. And we saw Wemby was super emotional at the game, crying. He was super happy for the moment. And now, we're here. They play a Knicks team that pretty much did whatever they want in that Eastern Conference, and a lot of people, it's been talks like basically like they didn't play nobody. Knicks ain't played nobody. They just easily ran through the conference and got to the finals. So we're about to find out whether or not are the Knicks that type of team. Are they for real? And what they did, was it the fact that they're the type of team that they are, or is the East not that great? You know what I'm saying? Or is it two things can be true. So all I know is we got this heavyweight bout, and it's about to start pretty soon here, opening up in San Antonio.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in two things can be true. I think that the East might not be a powerhouse right now, but you still got some guys you gotta, play, on the court. Like you gotta get on the court and take care of business. And they're not taking care of business by winning game sevens. They're doing something that I've never seen in the Eastern Conference. First round, they had a little hiccup and they figured it out, and then they swept the rest of the East. Like it's not like a conversation of is there competition for them? They blew out the competition, right? They could have went game 7 in the second round in the Eastern Conference Finals. They didn't do any of that. They went into Philadelphia and dominated. They went into every single place and dominated. And right now, they're looking like the heavy favorites, if I'm being honest. But my biases won't allow me to pick the Knicks. It just won't do it. I'm gonna have to pick the San Antonio Spurs to win this series simply because I've never seen a player like Victor Wembanyama. I've never seen young Bucks step up the way that this young San Antonio Spurs team is doing right now, and they're looking like they have no fear. They didn't get the memo that they were still pups. They playing like big dogs out there, and right now I think they going hunting for cats, if you know what I mean.
Message. And that's crazy. You came right out with it with your predictions. I won't go for the series right now. I gotta see game one. I gotta see game two. But I definitely believe that with where the Spurs are with coming out of that series, highly emotional win for them, get into the finals after a game 7 Western Conference Finals. Now they go to the crib and they're about to play against the Knicks at the crib game one. I'm going to say game one, I'm going to give it to the Spurs just because they're riding on the high right now and they're feeling really good. And I think that their crowd is going to be, both crowds are going to be electric, but it's going to be real special because what they're in a great spot again where they got themselves a superstar. You go back in the 80s and 90s, they had David Robinson. And as David Robinson was, transitioning away towards retirement, Tim Duncan comes in. They have their superstar. And then they went through a rebuilding period. Well, they had Kawhi Leonard, Kawhi Leonard as Tim Duncan was phasing out. Kawhi Leonard comes in, and then now Kawhi went on to Toronto and wins the championship. And then they went through years of rebuilding where they were doing things throughout the draft. And, 2 or 3 years ago, they were able to draft Wemby. Now they got their star again. So I think it's all hitting home for this franchise. They have their star, and they're back in the finals where they want to be at, and that crowd, and they're just rallying behind these guys. The guys compliment Wemby so well. The Foxes, all those guys, are really complimentary of him and his game and what he's able to do. So we're watching something legend. No matter who wins the series, it's gonna be legendary because with the Spurs, they get their star back, like I'm saying, and then they get back to the mountaintop and get that Larry O'Brien, and then it'll be the Knicks if they win it. It's been a long time. I believe it's been since '75, the last time they won a NBA championship. So it's gonna be incredible storylines. It's gonna be incredible story. Speaking of storylines,
Uh-oh.
so interesting.
Here
It's
we
so
go.
it's so it's so interesting. So twofold. Mike Brown, Mike's been around. Shout out to Mike Brown, my guy Mike Brown, good friend of mine, excellent human being, and incredible coach. He's been, Mike has been in the league a long time. So
But where do you start at?
he started in Denver, I believe,
Okay.
as an intern, where he worked with JB Bickerstaff. So he had a battle with. Hold on, let me go back. Mike Brown. You look at who they played in the playoffs. They had to play in the Eastern Conference Finals. They played Cleveland, where I believe he did two stints in Cleveland as a coach there. And now he's going to the finals playing against the Spurs, where he was an assistant under Pop. So that storyline is just so interesting. And there's probably more to it because you learn how small this league is. Everybody has worked with everybody at some point in terms of coaching, and then everybody in terms of playing. Everybody's played on the same team as each other at some point in their career. So it's just interesting. And then now you're in the finals. He's playing the Spurs, who currently has De'Aaron Fox, who he coached in Sacramento. And that's just so interesting how things turn out where both of those guys were in Sacramento, where 2 or 3 years ago they had their first playoff berth in a long time, and the following year wasn't able to get back there, and then things happened. Franchise decided to trade Fox to the Spurs, and Mike was let go. But I tell you what, he landed solid on his feet in New York. He's doing his thing, and it's just a testament to how great of a coach Mike Brown is. And I remember during that time it was very unfortunate for the Kings organization to let go of such a great coach, especially what he accomplished there in so little of time. And he was the coach of the year that year, the previous year. But I'm happy to see Mike there in New York getting those Knicks over the hump of the Eastern Conference Finals. Now they're in the finals and getting ready to compete for NBA championship.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful thing to see because I feel like Mike Brown was one of those coaches that was on a hot seat for a long time because a lot of people had high expectations for him, and a lot of other places he went to, it kind of didn't work out. Like Sacramento's a tough job to have, and it was a layup for him being, assistant coach at Golden State. And in the first round, even of this year, like for the Knicks, people was like off of Mike Brown head if they lose this first round. Like they was ready to let him go.
That's the price you pay when you're a Knicks coach. Like the moment you take the job, it's like they trying to get rid of you. It's a lot of pressure there.
Oh yeah, he is. I mean, as it should be. I mean, the Knicks is one of the markets that everybody wants to be in, along with, like a Chicago, Miami, Los Angeles Lakers to be specific. So I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with you because I love to do that the most on this show, man. I'm gonna disagree with you simply because I think that the team that usually has the most rest in the playoffs is the team that generally gets the first game win. even though the Knicks are going to be on the road, these Knicks fans are insane and they traveling with deep pockets. They gonna have a home crowd. And I'm not even gonna say it's gonna be like New York West in there or New York East, whatever you want to call it. It's not gonna be insane with Knicks fans, but I do feel like New York has had, almost a week off. And when you're dealing with playoff basketball, you're playing like every other day. And right now, San Antonio is coming out of one of the toughest series that they've ever played in. The series that they just finished playing against Oklahoma City, the reigning two-time MVP, which I felt like he had a hell of a game seven. I'm still looking for Chet Holmgren. I don't know where he's at. Somebody put a APB out for Chet Holmgren. I still don't know where he is. But I feel like Shea had a hell of a series. We saw him do a lot of things in the series that I didn't expect him to do, which was get off the ball real quick, and he let his teammates shine. And having two other players in the backcourt out, that definitely hurt, San Antonio. But I mean, and it definitely hurt Oklahoma. But hey, neither here nor there. San Antonio won the series, and they capitalized on it. And I'm happy for them. But it was an emotional high. It was an emotional series. And a lot of times when you come off an emotional type series, when you have beef with a player, like the way that Wemby has beef with Chet, like there's this, lull of a period where you come back down, you settle back down, or reality. And I feel like the Knicks are gonna come in just riding on a different type of high, especially with being undefeated in their last like 11 games, I think it is. And that's a hell of a streak right there. So I feel like the Knicks gonna come in and steal game one. One player I really want to point out, I'm all about talking crap about Mikal Bridges, even though he's a really nice guy. I feel like if Mikal Bridges starts playing like Landry Shamet, then I'll get off Mikal Bridges' head because Landry Shamet right now is that guy, and he's coming off the bench. And you need bench points, you need bench players to come in and give you that extra spark off the bench, along with a Jordan Clarkson type player. So I definitely feel like those two players right now are in their bag. They've been in the league for a while. They're proven. But one of the best players, or I say one of the players that shocked me the most, kind of outstanding right now. I'm so happy they got OG Anunoby back because OG is a different type of matchup. I don't even know what position he plays. I feel like he can guard every position. I feel like he can guard 1 through 5. Especially if your five like isn't 7'4". I feel like he can match up pretty well with him because right now it's not a lot of true centers in the NBA. But OG is definitely the difference maker for them. And when he's, playing at an all-time high, the Knicks are really hard to stop. The best, I mean, the person I talk the most crap about is probably Karl Anthony Towns. And Karl Anthony Towns is balling right now. So, hey, when you balling, I got to give you your credit because when you're not balling, I'm definitely going to talk about you. And you know what big body Bronson going to do? He going to do him. So I'm definitely looking forward to this first game, and I definitely think that New York is going to steal the first one. But this is going to be another series. I feel like this playoff run right here has been one of the best playoff runs that we've seen in a long time. Both first round games went to overtime, and that was amazing to see. So I'm dying to see how this game turned out right here. I'm really excited about it.
Speaking of balling, you mentioned Mikal Bridges and you mentioned Landry Shamet. Shout out to Landry Shamet. He's been playing amazing. He's been great for them. But I think you kind of did not put no respect on Mikal Bridges' name once again. I gotta bring the numbers out.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Outside of the last game that they played, which he still had 15 points. He didn't shoot the ball well. He's 4 for 16. Game one, 18 points. Game two, 19 points. Game three, 22 points. He definitely put out more offensive production than Shamit. Although I'm not comparing the two, they were amazing. But I bring that up because Mikal Bridges is going to be really important in this series. He just has to keep doing what he's been doing, taking those shots. I really like his mid range. When he gets to that mid range, I think that kind of gets his game going. And then just being ready to shoot and ready to make, and then being ready to guard different matchups that the Spurs may have using his wingspan, and being effective on the defensive end, which the Knicks have been really good being disruptive defensively. But he just got to keep doing what he's doing. Ever since he had that, dud of a series and he was called out early in the playoffs, I think he's responded really, really well. And to me, when you're going through a funk, especially in the playoffs, and you got everybody talking, all the media outlets they talking and all that stuff. He did what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to just, keep working and don't listen to the white noise, to the outside noise, to the loud noise, and just focus on what you do and do your job, and then things will work out for you.
Well, first of all, let me tell you what we're not gonna do. We not about to sit up here and talk about this man going 4 for 16 and give him credit. Four for
No,
six.
you didn't hear me. I said outside of that game, the other games I can read it for you. 7 for 11. That's what Mikal Bridges basketball should be. 9 for 12 on the next game. That's what it should be. 11 for 15. That's phenomenal. Like nobody can tell me that's not phenomenal. That's phenomenal in playoff basketball. And and be quite honest, with the game he went 4 for 16. I'm still impressed, despite because what it tells me is he wasn't making, but he kept shooting, in which he kept believing. And that's all you want from a guy like a Mikal Bridges in the playoffs.
Let me tell you where I was going with that. First of all, I
Hmm?
love the stats. I do, because I feel like stats lie. And let me tell you why I feel like stats lie. Because I'm talking about points that matter. These games that he's getting these buckets, first of all, he's the fourth option. Let me tell you why he's the fourth option. They
So
got
you're depending on his scoring, is what you're telling me.
let me tell you why he's a fourth option. They got OG back. Landry Shamet is hitting clutch buckets when it matters to put them to go up. You got big body Brunson. You got Karl Anthony Towns. Even Jay Hart is playing better than him. Here's the thing. Those games that he's getting those numbers are blowout games. These games they winning by like 20 and 30 points.
Landry Shamet played in the same game. Hart played in the same game. Bronson played. They all played in the same game. They just blew them out.
Exactly. They played in the same game, and he got those buckets in garbage minutes, is what I'm saying. I want to see him do it when
You
it
got to
matters.
show me that.
I want to see him pause. I want to see him do it when it matters. I want to see him step up in these final series. And then I'll finally get off his head. Listen, I don't have a problem with Mikal Bridges. I told you my only beef. They could have traded for OG Anunoby and had the same trade. My biggest problem is they gave up 5 first-round picks for the guy, and you guys could have had Giannis Antetokounmpo right now, meaning the New York Knicks. That is my only beef with him, and it's not even specifically with him because he can't pull his finger and make the trade. But I digress. Back to my point. I want to see you make buckets when they count. Right now, you guys are 11 and 0. And in a lot of those 11 and 0 games, they're blowout games, right? And so I want to see him step up and make buckets in the clutch, make buckets when it matters. Let me see you do those buckets or make those buckets in San Antonio when it matters, when it's not a blowout game. Let me see you make those buckets when they're in overtime. This is what I haven't seen. I haven't seen clutch buckets from Mikal Bridges. And if you're giving all of that up for Mikal Bridges, 5 first-round picks, oh no, I'm expecting productivity in the clutch.
I understand what you're saying, but they can't control. Like you can make that statement for anybody. They're blowing somebody out. Oh, his bucket was didn't matter. His bucket, they all matter. That's how you blow somebody out. And you got to do your job at the
He
end of
said
the
they
day.
all matter.
He's doing his job. But I listen. I hear you. Now you go to a higher level playing against the San Antonio Spurs. He's going to have to bring like the point I was making. He's going to have to bring that same level of production. If he does, that is good for the Knicks. If he doesn't, that can harm the Knicks. So that's the point. That's the point for me. In terms of the Knicks, you mentioned OG Anunoby. To me, he's super important. All right, for him and having him is, what he brings to the table. I believe like he's one of my favorite players in the NBA in terms of he don't get enough credit for what he does for that team, what he does on the defensive end, on the offensive end. He does a lot of things for him, and like you said, it's like almost like what is his position? Well, he's a basketball player that can play, 2, 3, and 4, and then guard 1 through 5. I mean, if you look at that guy, he's built like a tight end. Like he's, 6'7", fast, he's strong. You can't post him up, he's too strong, and he's got height. You can't go by him because he can defend the point of attack. He makes hustle plays. To me, OG Anunoby is a New York Knick, and that's what those fans love. And he's going to be super important for this team. And it's just going to be good to see him, matched up versus those guys on San Antonio's side on their team. So, but I think that I expect to see a really obviously Bronson is going to be Bronson, but I'm expecting a really good series from OG.
Same. I think that's one of the reasons why I mentioned him, straight off the top, was because he's a mismatch problem. I feel like there are players in this series that cancel each other out. I don't think there's really an answer for Brunson. I don't think there's really an answer for Wemby, but San Antonio is guard heavy. Their backcourt is really nice and they're really young and they're really hungry. So I feel like that can be a balance there, with so many hogs, even with guys coming off the bench. I feel like it's a good matchup or a good test. You feel confident going into that series, being able to match up against Brunson, but he's going to get his numbers. And then Karl Anthony Towns against Wemby. Like Wemby is a matchup nightmare, but I do like Karl Anthony Towns matchup against Wemby because at least they have somebody that can match up with him. There's
Yeah,
nobody in the court that can match up with OG Anunoby. I don't see anybody from San Antonio that you feel confident in saying, hey, you got OG tonight, right? Like there are different waves of players that you can throw at a Mikal Bridges. There are different waves of players that you can throw at Big Body Brunson. You even have decent, matchups with Wemby to help a little bit, Karl Anthony Towns a little bit. But there's nobody on the floor that really matches up well that I will feel confident in and saying, hey, you guard OG. So I understand why you say I want to watch the first game. You want to see how it goes, and then you get a better feel for it. It's a game by game, type of situation, type of series, I think. But just off top, I want to see who San Antonio is going to start off guarding OG. I think that'll say a lot about the coaching matchups. And then one thing that you always talk about is what are the coaching philosophies? What are we changing? What are the adjustments? And so after game one, after game two, if things don't go right, let's see the adjustments because we know come game three, game four, it's probably going to look totally different than game one and game two.
yeah, for sure. And this is going to be, as all series, it's going to be a chess match. And I think for game one, I would say for New York, I'll start with New York. It's the pace. You mentioned that New York's been sitting and waiting, so they should be fresh. They've been in the gym getting their shots up. Going through walkthroughs, going through different techniques, different schemes that they're going to present in game one to the Spurs. I think because they're fresh, that's a game where you come out and you play with a tremendous amount of pace. I think that the Knicks need to focus on controlling that pace by getting stops, getting out and running, advancing the ball, attacking, because it's very, very difficult to play versus the Spurs in a half court because you got the alien out there. And he's going to be making multiple efforts. You can't get anything clear at the rim. And then also, you can't just switch on him because he's willing. He's a willing defender, and those guys are tied into him, and they know that he's at the last line of defense of the defense. So I think the Knicks they need to try to get. I would try to focus on getting as many easy buckets as I can. Getting some stuff off transition, and then just trying to create some offense from my defense, being active, getting some steals, creating some offense in that way. So I think that's going to be really, really important in game one for the Knicks. And then I think that the Spurs, in terms of how they attack the Knicks, it's obvious. Getting Wemby the ball where he's comfortable in his spots, where he can get easy buckets, where he doesn't have to work as hard. And I know everybody talks about this, but, I would like to see, and it just makes sense Wemby getting some stuff, on the block early just to get him established and then just kind of playing from there. And I think that a high advantage for the Spurs will be like a De'Aaron Fox Wemby pick and roll. I think that going back to the Cleveland series with the New York Knicks, I thought that the Cavs did a good job early. Jared Allen
Okay.
rolling hard to the basket, setting screens and rolling hard to the basket. And I think they got away from that. And I think their advantage with Wemby is put him to me. Easy buckets is getting him the ball in the post, or whether it be the elbows or the nail, and then they from there they cut and play off that because they're going to try to double and triple team him. But I also think where his advantage is, where you don't even have to worry about double and triple teams, is putting him in that pick and roll, and he's fast. For a 7'4" guy, speed roll to the basket. Those are easy baskets for him, where he speed roll and he catch and just dunk the ball. And I think that gets their team going. That creates weak side tags, even strong side tags, depending on where you set. Yeah, so I think that's where the advantage is, getting Wemby some easy buckets early, and then defense. The defense is going to be obviously the defense is going to win you championships, and both teams are going to be hunting those matchups. So you just want to make sure that you got your best defensive lineups on the court and your best offensive lineups on the court, and then you just kind of go from there. But for in game one, both teams are just going to be filling each other out to kind of see how they come out and play and the things that they're going to be doing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that when Karl Anthony Towns is off the floor is when it's going to be a matchup nightmare. It's going to be a problem. And the one thing that I love the fact that Mike Brown is doing is he's playing his advantages to the other team's strength. The Knicks can play a fast-paced game or a slow-paced game. It doesn't matter. A lot of times they're not running the offense through Jalen Brunson until the fourth quarter or in clutch minutes when it really matters. And so it's a whole different type of flow. And I think that's the best part of having a coach like Mike Brown, as the leader of your ship, because now you're seeing a whole different type of movement and you're getting different players to elevate on different levels. It's giving a chance for players like Mikal Bridges to get more shots, for Hart to get a whole lot more shots, especially in transition, and OG Anunoby out on the floor on the wing is getting ready to run, dominate, and slash like he does. He does a great job of slashing to the basket. But he's also a very good passer too. So that forces Wemby to come over. And the biggest threat right now on those slashes is having Karl Anthony Towns out there to knock down the outside shot. So I feel like they'll do a decent job on pace and space. And what you didn't see was San Antonio really be able to adapt when Oklahoma played in the pace and space game. Whenever they pushed the pace and they got a lot of space on the floor, San Antonio really struggled with that. And so most of the games that they won, they kept the score around 115 or lower. So anything that gets into about the 120s or something like that, San Antonio has a tough job with keeping up the pace like that. And they also were going against a team that had a really deep bench. So that also was a factor as well. But I feel like in this series is one of those series that you kind of like, it's like you're filling out the first two rounds to really see where you're going. But there's not a lot of fill out time because you can't lose two games in a row. So if San Antonio comes out and gets the first two games, everything that you had in the game plan, you might have to change going back to New York. So right now, this is the reason why I give the New York Knicks game one. I feel like they had a lot of rest. Like you just said, they're going to push the pace, right? I feel like they're really going to push the pace because they've had a lot of time off. They had a lot of time to rest. San Antonio's coming off a really tough series, right? Even though I would like to see San Antonio come out and be dominant in this first game just to set the precedent, I just don't think it's going to happen. I just don't. Not in this first game. I think it's going to take them a while to adjust. And in reality, like San Antonio's very young. I think Darren Fox, who played a hell of a game seven and had a really good series against Oklahoma, he's the only one right now that I feel like is, kind of ready for the moment as far as being able to play a veteran team like the New York Knicks game one, right? I feel like everybody else is going to adjust as the series goes along. Now, with that being said, that game one that Wemby had against Oklahoma, oh my God. That was a game for the ages. I feel like it's something that we're going to see on repeat because I'm still seeing that logo three that Steph Curry pulled up and Wemby pulled one and he's 7'4". Like in transition, just gunned it, right? Like when I saw that shot, it made me think like, is he the next man up? And I think that was the answer. When he hit that shot, I felt like he looked at Chet and his whole family and was like, yeah, you can get it, you can get it, you can get it, and your mama can get it too.
Hey, yeah, man, it was crazy watching that game. I thought we saw him introducing himself to the world when he
Yeah.
did when that was one of those moments we're going to talk about for the rest of his life. Is one of
Yep.
those moments where he was on the stage and he put on a hell of a basketball performance. And the reason why I agree with you, and I'm being very risky with my decision for game one, picking the Spurs, being very risky, but we got to make this interesting. And I don't doubt that the Knicks. Listen, I won't be surprised if the Knicks win game one. I think you're right. But what I'm going off of is uh, how the Spurs are riding on this natural high right now. And I just think that Wemby wants to seize the moment. And I can see a lot of times when you're young, especially when you're a young athlete, you don't fully grasp the moment that you're in. And I don't think the Spurs have done that. They understand what's at stake. They do. And they super are locked in on what they need to do. But I think 5 years from now, they're going to laugh because they're going to look at themselves as kids, and it's going to be a thing where they say, we had no idea what was even going on at that particular time, now that we look at it now. And I think that Wemby's going to come out in this game one riding on this big wave, and I think he's going to have an outstanding performance. And I just love the way he approaching things from a standpoint where he's putting the weight of the world on his shoulder, and he's answering the bell. And that's what you want to see from a young player, And I think that anybody that watches our show knows that that's the standard for guys like us. We're not expecting perfection. We're expecting heart and effort, and I think that's what I like about Wemby. And the thing about Wemby is, if you watch him play, he's got a long way to go in his development, from a standpoint of his strength, gaining more muscle, playing on balance. And sometimes it looks a little bit out of control because he is 7'4". He is what is he, 22 years old. He's still, growing into his game and his body. And what's scary about it, Coach T. Fletch, is
500.
fine. Don't forget the 500. What's scary about Wemby is he's nowhere near polished how he's going to be. You know how when you watch a player that he got that polished look, like, oh man, that's a nice, easy bucket for him. Like his game is polished. He's on that different kind of pro level that you might not understand. You know what I'm saying? He's not nowhere near there, but he's getting the job done. And it looks so different because we've never seen somebody his height dribbling and doing the things that he's doing. He's really not a true center. If you watch him play, he's not really like a true center. You know what I'm saying? And that's another scary part of it. Like a lot of players you can take where, I feel like his perimeter game is almost ahead of his low post game. So a lot of players like him, they they establish themselves in the league, and then they say, "All right, now I'm about to do the whole. Let me establish this post game, my turnarounds, and all my stuff I want to do, my whole bag in a low post, and plus I'm gaining the increased IQ, plus I'm gaining strength, plus I'm doing all of this." And it's gonna be scary. And I pray, I pray that Wemby can stay healthy over the course of his career, because what we are watching, we're witnessing greatness coming to its very own.
And it's one of the reasons why when I warmed up my coffee today in
Hello,
my
nice
kitty
Hello Kitty mug.
in my kitty cup is because I wanted to know which Carl Anthony Towns we was gonna get today. Are we gonna get Big Cat? Or are we gonna get Hello Kitty Carl Anthony Towns?
Well, based off how he's been playing, we about to get a lion, and we about to witness the clash of the Titans, man. Carl Anthony Towns versus the alien Wemby, man. It's gonna be one for the ages, man. And I believe we're gonna see that lion And I'm one to believe that Cat's gonna carry that momentum into the finals, man. And we gonna see. And we
We
gonna
sure
see.
are.
We gonna
We gonna
see. We
see.
gonna
We gonna see.
see.
Hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for it because I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna be drinking this same mug when he don't get double digits. I'm gonna be like, hey man, Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty. I started saying his name. You notice I started saying his name. They went 11-0. I started calling this dude Carl Anthony Town. What was his name that I called him before they start going 11-0? What was I calling him?
You can tell the people that.
Cat Williams. I was like, this dude is Cat Williams. He is not getting it done right now. And right now, the trade that the New York Knicks made to get him is looking like it's paying off, man. And I feel like he is one of the biggest deciding factors in this series because Carl Anthony Towns is a problem right now in these playoffs. This 11-0 stretch, I've never seen this Carl Anthony Towns. I'm saying his name. Nah, I'm saying this man's full name, middle name, and everything. Carl Anthony Towns has showed up and showed out. And that's why he gets my respect right now. And until I see big time numbers from Mikal Bridges, I'm not giving him the credit that I need. I need to see him step up in big time games like Carl Anthony Towns has done. Carl Anthony Towns put the team on his back. Big Brody Bunson, he's going to do what he does. We already know he's going to get his numbers. He's not to be stopped. But Carl Anthony Towns has been playing like a man on a mission. But guess what? You going up against an alien right now. And I want to see how you react and how you respond to that.
Facts, facts, facts. I agree. So like I said, we got to see it in these finals, and Cat just got to keep doing what he's doing. But now he's got to step it up. I think when you get to the finals, you got to get 4 wins, and you can lift the trophy up in that air. And hey, man, hey living it up. You forever a legend. So to me, he's got to lock in on these 4 games. But it's finals now. You got to go from here to there. All right, that's what a champion does in the finals, and whoever does that is going to come out victorious. I want to not even go back, but I want to mention this real quick. I think somebody that's been really good for the Spurs throughout the playoffs, kind of an unsung hero, has been Julian Campani. I think he's been playing terrific, and I think he's a guy. I won't say that he's an OG stopper, but if I'm looking in the locker room, if I'm Coach Mitch, I'm like, let me go for him in terms of, hey, I'm gonna put this on your shoulders, young fella. I'm gonna put this challenge towards you. I want you to take on that challenge with OG. And another storyline, he's a guy who was cut. He was cut by the Philadelphia 76ers. He came out and made a statement about it like he thought that it was over. He thought it was over for him, and the San Antonio Spurs organization ended up picking him up, ended up signing him, and now here he is in the finals. I thought that's an incredible story. The Philadelphia 76ers cutting him, and now he's here playing in the finals, which the Philadelphia 76ers also traded. They traded McCain
What are
to
they
the
doing in Philly?
OKC.
What are they doing in Philly, man?
And I think that's ultimately why Philadelphia ownership decided to part ways with Daryl Morey. Those guys, it's crazy that those guys was in Philly. And one thing that we're learning here, Coach, how important it is not just to focus on your main stars, but also your supporting cast. So during the season, you got to constantly be evaluating your roster because once you get to the playoffs, it's not just about your stars and superstars. Your supporting cast is super important. And we saw that with both teams that are now here in the finals. And, you know, for the young players out there, big homie advice. It's not about the team you're on all the time. It's about the team that you fit with. And obviously, every player has a fit somewhere. But it's really, really important that you stay ready. You continue to work on your game and make sure that you're ready for the moment. The preparation for the moment is not when that moment is there. It's before all that. Like if you're not playing, obviously those guys, Campani and those guys and McCain, those guys when they weren't in rotation in Philly, they weren't sitting on their ass. they were working. They were still working on their game and doing what they had to do. And then when they got to their new situations, they were prepared for the moment. So you always want to be prepared.
I agree, man. It's a lot of times where you get guys that come off the bench in a series and they might end up being starters. Anything can happen. One of your star players can get hurt or somebody's just not having a hot hand and you insert a different player into the starting lineup and it changes everything. You brought up McCain. McCain ended up starting 2 games for the very first time in his playoff career. And um, he had a showcase of a series. And one of the big moments that I definitely realized from Game 7, Oklahoma Spurs, was the Luke Cornett block. Did you see it?
Yes, and that's a great mention because what you just said, Luke Cornett had a big time series I believe it was last year with the Celtics, had a hell of a playoffs, and he got himself paid. So what you're saying is like, role players, they go into situations and they answer that bell. It could end up meaning a big time contract just because you play well in the playoffs. So it's all about being prepared. But yeah, Luke Cornett, that same guy, being ready, goes in there, makes a big time block, makes a big time play to help his team win.
I'm glad you brought up Champagny though. Champagny has some buckets in the clutch that really stood out, man. It kind of got him over the edge in that Game 7. And this is why I think San Antonio is so deadly, man. They've got lethal force. Like they're not household names. I said this the last episode. Like a lot of those guys can walk by you on the street, and if they weren't 6'7", 6'8", you wouldn't look twice at them. Carter Bryant, who's he related to, Chad? I say he's
Man,
a
shout out to Carter Bryant, man, from Southern California, basketball player, man, played at Centennial High School, played for the AAU organization in Compton Magic. Um, also is the son of Deshaun, my boy Deshaun Bryant. Shout out to Deshaun Bryant. Shout out to his uncle Trayvon Bryant, who's the assistant for the Cal women's basketball team, man. So happy for that young man, being able to watch from afar, watch him grow up, and now he's here as a rookie, 20 years old, playing in the NBA Finals, man. Represent for Cali, man, for sure.
Hey, we battled with Trayvon back in the day, man. He was
He played for
built.
Slammer Jam.
Yeah,
He
with the
played for Slammer
twins.
Jam for the legendary late great Izzy Washington, man. Slammer Jam. Shout out to the Izzy Washington family. May he rest in peace. And he also played with the Craven twins, Eric and Derek Craven, man. Shout out to those guys. Class of 2001, man. They had a spectacular team, and we had a lot of battles with them playing for TPI, VBA, K Swiss.
I love how you always say K-Swiss. You gotta let them know.
I
Gotta
show
let
them
'em-
love. I show them love. You know what I'm saying?
The kids are like, "What is K-Swiss?
Yeah.
That's a shoe that you would never wear."
Facts. Facts.
But the reason why I bring up Carter Bryant is because last series, he didn't have the best series. But he's one of those guys that you need to pay attention to because even though he's a rookie, he's one of those guys in this series, he's going to be the definition of next man up. Like, just stay ready. Like, if you ready, you ain't got to get ready, right? And the best ability sometimes is availability. And I can tell you right now, this guy's going to be available. But the guys that they have that aren't household names, that aren't the leading scorers, that's not so pretty. Like, I love right now the way Dylan Harper is playing. Dylan Harper seems like he's one of those guys that's not afraid of the moment. His dad played in the league, so he's getting a lot of mentorship, and I feel like he's built for these type of situations. And I don't think he's going to shy away from anything. But I was really shocked at is it Vassell or Vaselli? I keep hearing two different names.
Vassal. Vassal.
Devin Vassell. The way Devin Vassell has been playing lately is with a no for fear mentality, man. And I feel like he's one of those guys they can get hot off the bench. He can give you 15 points in a quarter if he gets hot. And he could be a guy that sneaks into the starting lineup. So if you just look at every single name, the Carter Bryants, the Dylan Harper, the Devin Vassell, the Luke Cornett, like all of these guys, they know their role and they play their role. And like Coach Chad Bell was saying, sometimes it's not about being a superstar player. It's about knowing your role on the team. And when your number gets called, it's time for you to step up. And I feel like a lot of those players are ready for this moment. Even though some of them are young players, just watch out. Just remember this podcast. Remember today we brought up those names because they're names that you haven't heard of not because they're not playing in a big organization like the New York, not organization, but a big market like the New York Knicks. They're not playing for the Lakers. They're not playing, you know what I'm saying, for a team that's on TV every single day like the Knicks, right? And so when those guys get the opportunity to shine, I feel like all of a sudden it's like, who are those guys? Like guys that you heard on Big Homie Podcast. That's who they are.
Big facts. And I like the fact that you mentioned Carter Bryant, and he's in a special situation there as a rookie. Coach, if you watch the game, Coach Mitch takes a lot of time out with him, pushing him, challenging him. It reminds me of Pop, how he would challenge his young guys. And whenever you see a coach doing that, they see greatness in that player, and they know that that player can raise the bar. And I think that Carter Bryant is important. When you look at Carter Bryant, what he provides for the Spurs, it's not what always shows up on the stat sheet. He brings effort, he brings intensity, he brings youth. All right, he's a guy that can guard multiple positions, and it's just fun watching him play and providing those things for the Spurs. And I think that he's a guy that you will continue to see grow into his role. You can't really focus on him being like a 20, 30-point scorer right now. I think that will happen during his development, but it's all about the defense. It's also about him. I like the fact that, a couple of those games in the Western Conference Finals, he was aggressive and going towards the basket, all right, turning down some shots that he normally would shoot. And then that opened up some times where he can get a catch and shoot and knock it down the shot. And then just providing that energy and intensity on the defensive end. You mentioned Vassell. One thing I'll say before you go, Coach, before you talk, people don't remember this, but 2 or 3 years ago, Vassell averaged 20 points a game. This is a guy that I remember during that time evaluating and saying, man, this guy is going to be a heck of a player. And that's what he ended up averaging for the season. It was a point during the season he was well over 20 points per game, and he was just playing with that confidence. And I said, man, this kid plays out like he's been in the league for 10 years. And that doesn't ever go away. The mentality never goes away. I think that the Spurs organization has done a good job with drafting and putting the right pieces in place, but he's still that player. He hasn't had a drop off. Obviously, they brought in a player that's going to be a legend in Wemby if he stays healthy. So he's able to still provide that, and that's the confidence and the mentality that he comes into the arena every night with.
Yeah, now you mentioned Pop. The one thing that I love about having a mentor like Pop in the building is Stephon Castle said that immediately when the game is over, his first phone call that he receives, not that he makes, that he receives is from Greg Popovich. And that's what I'm
Mm.
talking about. Like big homies like that, like triple OG. You know what I'm saying? Like been there, done that one, taking a time out of his day, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that he's tapping in. I saw a video clip where Pop was sitting there during the practice. Pop is sitting down, sitting next to Stephon Castle and Carter Bryant. And they are soaking up nothing but game. The way that they were in tune, listening and learning and soaking in that knowledge, it was like, hey man, you need to understand, young pups, that this is your inheritance. We are a championship organization. These championships are for you to win. This is what we do. So you didn't come here to play basketball. You didn't come here to be an all-star. You didn't even come here to be a Hall of Famer. You came here to be a champion. And this
Mm-hmm.
is in your future. It's in your DNA. Naturally, when you put that Spurs jersey on, when you put Inglewood across your chest, you are born into legacy, right? And so that's what Pop is letting them know on a daily basis. And so this is why in the beginning of the show, I said, there's no way I'm picking against the San Antonio Spurs with the way they just knocked off the defending champions with a two-time MVP. Nah, it's not happening. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I am not disrespecting the Knicks anymore. You guys went 11 and 0. Hey, you go 11 and 0, you deserve respect. And respect you are getting until
Facts. Well, we got to wind down the show here, but I want to have a quick discussion before we do that, Coach. And one thing I want to talk about is with these teams now in the finals, we saw these teams battle it out way back in the day, back in 1999. Now we're back with these teams. Now, in terms of winning for both franchises, what does it look like on both sides if they win, and what's the impact of them winning the championship on both sides for either team?
So the Spurs are in a situation I feel, well, first of all, that's a great question. I'm glad that you asked because it's something that people need to really think about as far as present tense, right? We talked about the past with San Antonio's history, and we talked about the past with the New York Knicks not having a history. So it's like we talking about the San Francisco 49ers, which is our squad, and it's like we talking about the Dallas Cowgirls, right? So in this situation, the Knicks are the Cowgirls. They're irrelevant. They're totally irrelevant. And I feel like their fans are delusional. Like, even when it comes to the Jets, when it comes to the Yankees, the New York fan base itself is just, they're in their own atmosphere, stratosphere, right? But with that being said, the Knicks right now are in a situation, especially with Jalen Brunson. I'm gonna throw a question back at you real quick before I continue. Just answer this real quick. If the New York Knicks win the championship, is Jalen Brunson considered the greatest Knick of all time?
Woo, that's a powerful question, man.
Bars.
That's a powerful question. Powerful. I won't even say that's a good question. That's a powerful question. Hey, listen, man. I don't give a damn. You damn right he's the best. Sorry. It's been too long. They've been through too many struggles, and it's no disrespect to anybody. But what that young man has been able to do in the Knick uniform, this was icing on the cake. He has no explaining of himself to do in terms of performance and putting up crazy games and numbers. He has nothing else to prove there. You know, it's hard for a guy his size to get the MVP of the league. So it's very difficult. But to get a champion, I guarantee you, if you ask Jalen Brunson, hey, would you rather have an MVP or a championship? I think he's going to say championship. So if he is able to do that, just because what city he's in, playing for the Knicks, and what that means to basketball, why not, man? You got to give it to him, and he's going to be forever uh, embedded into New York City, not just basketball, New York City culture. He'll live there the rest of his life, no matter what happens after this or whatever. He'll live there the rest of his life, and he have a row of seats in the garden until he, leaves the earth. He'll be immortalized.
So I agree with you 100%. That's why I asked, because I think that that kind of answers the question that you posed to me, which is legacy. The New York Knicks are cementing an entirely different legacy than the San Antonio Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs are going to probably have 3 or 4 more runs, especially with their young squad, at a championship, right? And I feel like they'll, out of those 3 or 4 runs, they'll get 2 of them. But right now, you see in Oklahoma City, just after one bad run, they're already they ready to get rid of Chet Holmgren just like that. Like, yo, Chet's got to go. Him or Jalen Williams, we got to do something, right? So San Antonio has a few more cracks at it, and I feel like if they don't get it this time, they might mess around and be in the finals next year, and they might win it. Why wouldn't they? But the Knicks are built for right now. So if the Knicks don't win it this year, especially with the East being healthier, with Tatum coming back and Halliburton coming back, right? And Detroit is right there. Detroit is a problem. Like, nobody's really talking about Detroit and how Orlando pushed them. Orlando pushed that series. So there's a couple of teams. I mean, I don't feel like we really need to get into Cleveland, but there's a couple of teams in the East that are threatening the powers in the East right now. And it's like, yo, the East is up for grabs. So this is New York's time. And a lot of people said this was New York's time before the season even started, knowing that you had a couple of stars out in the East. But as far as the West, man, San Antonio is here to stay. Them in Oklahoma right now, we have just seen a rivalry start between those two franchises. And if Jalen Williams and AJ Mitchell don't go down, I still don't know who wins that series because of how
Okay,
close.
see.
Yeah, I think OKC definitely wins the series, but they got Wemby. So you don't know what Wemby does when it comes to clutch situations. He might pull up from the logo in double overtime. You know what I'm saying? Like, who does
Right.
that at 7'4"? Wemby. He's the only other player that can do it. He's called the alien for a reason because we've never seen anything like him, right? And so I definitely think it's a great question, and I think that San Antonio has a few more chances at it, but the Knicks are in a win now situation.
Absolutely, absolutely. I fully agree with you. And it's a good storyline, man. And it's just a great opportunity for the New York Knicks and their organization. And one thing I want to mention here, because one thing that a lot of people, people talk about it, and I'm just going to talk about it here. It's very difficult. The coaching is a very difficult business. I've been a coach for many years. I started coaching back in 2010 at the collegiate level, and it's very difficult business. It's hard to get jobs. Assistant coach jobs, player development jobs, video jobs. It's extremely hard to get a job, and it's been things that have been talked about black coaches getting jobs. And I just want to, acknowledge the Black Coaches Association. It's a special time right now where we have the NBA Finals. And I'm not sure if this has happened before, but we have two African American coaches in the NBA Finals, and Mitch Johnson for the San Antonio Spurs and Mike Brown for the New York Knicks. So it's a tremendous honor to watch these two be able to go head to head in this finals matchup and see two black coaches have these type of opportunities, because it doesn't come often where black coaches get these type of opportunities to even like be a head coach, and it's very meaningful, especially for a league that is dominated by many black African American players. So shout out to those two for what they have accomplished so far, and I'm looking forward to a good series.
You never really get to see San Antonio coach like talk a lot, but the one thing I appreciate about San Antonio's head coach versus New York Knicks head coach is you see San Antonio coach get spicy sometimes, right? You see him on that sideline getting feisty, and I like it. I'm all for it because that light skin energy, when it go left, it turns up. You saw that recently with Austin Rivers. That light skin energy hit different. When they get upset, man, they take it to a whole different level. Mike Brown, cool, calm, and collected. If anything, you know what Mike Brown do when he get mad? He hits you with that glasses. When they push the glasses up
When they're
like that,
pushing back, push them up.
hey boy, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at he hits you with one of those, right? And you like, hey, let me get it together, right? So I agree 100%. Like there are many things that me and Coach C Bell gonna disagree on, but having two head coaches that deserve it, that have and like even though Mike Brown's been in the league for a while, as far as age, he's fairly young. Like we got two young, like these coaches are gonna be around for a while if everything works out. But I think one of the things that Chad was mentioning was that there are not a lot of opportunities for a lot of black coaches. And it's crazy because the league is predominantly black. Like if you look at a lot of leagues around, you got, baseball, you got hockey, you got soccer. Like the majority of the players are the majority of the managers, are the majority of the presidents, are the majority of the owners. The only leagues that's not like that is the ones dominated by black athletes. The NFL, not too many presidents, not too many general managers, no owners, right? Like you got Magic in there as a co-owner. In the NBA, the same way. It's not too many owners. So, I'm dying to see those groups pair up and make some things happen. And we need to start buying some more teams. But at the same time, let's congratulate and give these men their flowers, man. We got two black coaches in the NBA Finals, and I think it's going to be a special one, man. That's a good bring up. I'm glad you brought that up, Coach Bell.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to those two gentlemen, tremendous coaches. And like I said, I can't wait to watch these first couple of games and kind of see where this series is at, man. And as always, I enjoy talking basketball with you. Being able to do this show is special. I mean, I just want to give a shout out to our followers and our subscribers so far, our followers on Instagram, all of our subscribers on YouTube. We've seen all your support. We've seen all the comments. I've received several text messages from people, congratulating us on this show. I've received several messages from people encouraging us to keep going, and we're just gonna keep going, man. We're gonna keep building this show, and we always gonna be big homies for those out there that need the big homie advice. And I think it's just real important that we push this culture and we pass it forward to the next generation, man. And one thing I want to take some time out and just talk about my foundation, Improve Your Game Impact. You can find us on Improve Your Game hyphen impact.org, where we're an organization where we help young people make that transition. We know that transition into adulthood can be sometimes difficult, and you not have a clear path or a clear plan of what you want to do. And we're here to help you. And we're an organization that's based in Los Angeles, and we're there to help young people figure out what they want to do in life, and we give them a game plan to improve your game and to improve your life. And I just want to give a shout out. And you can find us on at improve at IYG Impact on Instagram. You can find us there. Hit us up, send us a message, follow us, and we're always there to be a resource towards you. Keep following us on Instagram at the Big Homies Podcast, and also keep following, subscribing, checking out our channel on YouTube as well.
Real quick, I want to give a big shout out to one of my teammates who I just ran into at the Big Three, Doug Thomas, man. Thoughts and prayers to your family, man. I know you had a couple of close loved ones pass away recently, man. So, anybody out there that's, know my man Doug knows he's one of the greatest people on the planet, man. So,
Thunder DT.
right, yeah. Big shouts out to my man
Shouts
Doug
out to
Thomas,
Thunder.
man. Thoughts and prayers to you and your beautiful family, man. You gonna get through it. I was texting with you last night, man. If you need to holler at your boy, hit me up, man. You got my number. Hit me up. We can talk. But just thoughts and prayers to you. And just know for a lot of you people out there, man, you are not alone. You are not alone. Always feel free to reach out to somebody. Me and Chad are the big homies. Let us be your mentors. We tell you all the time, all the time. But check this out. If you don't know us, off GP, if we've never FaceTime, understand this. My business hours are from
9 to 5. Hold on. 9 to 5. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
West
Not
Coast time.
8:59 a.m. Not 5:01 p.m. Not can I get 5 minutes? Can I get 2 minutes? Can I get 10 minutes? 9 to 5. 9 to 5.
With that being said, man, Chad Bell, man, it's a blessing, man. I know you just got back in. Hey, Chad Bell just flew back on the PJ. Me and him just went to fly out to see the fam. He went to go see the fam graduate. Shout out to all the graduates, man. It's a beautiful time to
Yes, shout
graduate.
out to the graduates, all the graduates of class of 2026.
Yes,
Shout
sir.
out to you. Congratulations to you. You did it. You completed your coursework. You're going to do great things. Do great things. Believe in yourself. Never stop believing in yourself, and clap it up for yourself. It's okay to pat yourself on the back. It's a tremendous accomplishment, whether you're graduating for elementary school, middle school, high school, college, graduate school, your doctorate program, wherever you at. Hey, the Big Homie Podcast, salute to class of 2026.
Yes, and please don't be selfish. Money is not everything for you, college graduate. It just lowers your stress. It gives you a better lifestyle. It gives you a nice house, a nice car, but money isn't everything, right?
Right,
So
right.
try not to be focused on that. And when you're at your graduation, look around to your left and to your right. Somebody's bound to be crazy in that graduation class. Somebody is bound to be crazy. So please be nice to everybody. And if you in high school, understand that somebody in your class is probably going to end up crazy as well. So be that positive influence in other people's life. Be a mentor and be a big homie like us.
And I want to give a special shout out to my nephew, Brandon Hightower II, who graduated from South Oak Cliff High School in Dallas, Texas. He was a member of the Class 6A state champion of the Mecca the Mecca, the Bears, man. Finished top 10 in the country. He's going to be a freshman this fall for the Missouri State team out there at Missouri State for the football team, for the Missouri State football team. Shout out to you, nephew.
Shout out to Sanavadar. T-shirt Chris, good looking out. Came through with another purchase, man. I appreciate you looking out for the
Yes,
show.
sir.
We got to make this happen. A lot of people hitting me up for merch all of a sudden. So we got to make something happen real quick. Got to do a collab. Got to do a collab, man.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, that's our show for today. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you, those subscribers out there. Keep following the show. Make sure you subscribe, share, and like and comment. I'm your boy, Coach C. Bell. I got my man right here,
TFletch500
TFletch500.
in the
We
building.
out. Big homies, the one and only.